Hey there, folks. I wanted to wrap up some things in our poetry unit and start to talk a little bit about the unit that we will be starting the week of the 23rd. So this week we've been looking at poetic form, kind of looking at those strict rules that, you know, are in the ballad or the epic, the haiku, the limerick, the pantoum, all those things. And last week we looked at poetic meter, and as we all experienced hearing poetic meter, that the rhythm in those words can be very difficult. So you guys did a great job on your blogs, and especially if we're coming to poetry without any experience. If all we do is we are stressed out about hearing these poetic meters and we're looking at, you know, the rhyme scheme and the rhythm in a sonnet, like I said in the previous video, that kind of dissection kills the life of a poem. So I wanted to reiterate to you that this is just certain types of poems. The things that we looked at in the Frank X. Walker poems and the Ada Limon had a wide variety in format and experience. So it doesn't, your poem shouldn't have to feel like a math equation. Your poem shouldn't have to feel like you're building a machine. It's more of a living experience. So if those types of poems aren't your jam, that's fine. There's lots and lots of kinds of poems. So you don't have to like those certain kinds, but I wanted to give us those exercises just so we can take a look at them, see what we like about them. I do want to offer an extra credit blog because we haven't had one in this unit yet. I know it's the end of the week, so this will be due like Monday night. And just like I had posted a link to the Andrea Gibson poem about the Pulse nightclub shooting, and I posted the Roche poem yesterday about suicide, I want you to go look at what's available online. I like to look at a lot of the Button poetry series. You just go to YouTube, but look anywhere you can find a video of a poet reading their work, or it can be a poet performing a famous work like Shakespeare or Sylvia Plath, or it certainly doesn't have to be any of the few poets that we've read. There's billions of poets out there. So I'll post the instructions on how to do this as an announcement, but I want you to, if you want to do this, find the video, watch it, decide whether you like it or don't, or somewhere in between. And then when you go into your blog, post it as Extra Credit Blog 1. When you click into, you know, where you type your blogs, you're very familiar with that, it would be good if you could copy and paste the URL down into the text box, but also if you look at the little icons and stuff above the text box, there's the paperclip, there's the photo if you want to insert a photo, and then right next to it is a thing that looks like a strip of film with the play button on it, and if you hover over it, it says insert edit embedded media. You click on that and you can paste the URL right in there, especially if it's from YouTube, and we'll be able to watch the video right there in your blog. So after you give us the link to the video that you watched, write a paragraph about what you thought about it. What did you think about the poem, the content? What did you think about the poet's performance? Some of these videos that you watch will be very, you know, the poet will just be reading their poem. Other ones in the style of slam poetry will be very dynamic. They might sing. They might have very exaggerated vocal inflections and stuff like that. So tell us what you thought about it. And that extra credit blog will be worth 10 points if you want to do it. So by Monday night at midnight, that'll give you some time to do it. So there's that. Next week, we don't have a blog. We've got this extra credit one if we want to do it. But our poetry essay is due next Friday night, the 20th. So we need to get started on that. And that's why I didn't assign a blog, so that you could focus on that essay. So in the Module 1 folder, there's the poetry essay assignment sheet. And we are looking at Natalie Diaz's poems, and there's that packet that I told you about there. And there's a lot of different things you can talk about. You can talk about like some of the examples on here. we're going to take 2 of Diaz's poems that are addressing the same kind of theme or have the same kind of poetic devices in it. And then you're going to find another poem that's doing something similar from another poet. So this is kind of forcing you to go out and look at and read more poems. So 2 of Diaz's poems that you compare, and then another poet who's doing the same thing. So for example, like on the assignment sheet, it says she has a couple poems that discuss her brother's drug addiction. The whole section of her actual book is about that. So talk about those and maybe find another poem that's about drug addiction. Or the use of poetic form. There's the ABCDarian requiring further examination. That was one of the forms some of you talked about in your blog, where it goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G all the way down, which is really interesting to read those poems and then you realize that it's a form and you're like, oh, I didn't even realize. But she also does Aubade, an Aubade, which is a poem about morning time. There's a blues form poem. So she's got several different forms, so you can compare 2 of those forms and then find one maybe that you talked about in your last blog or from that website. You can also look at the use of her religious imagery, the themes of poverty, the use of food imagery. She uses non-English words, right? So she uses some Spanish, she uses some Mojave. So on the assignment sheet, the major sections of this essay should be your introduction with your thesis statement, an overview of what you're discussing. So are you going to discuss poetic form? Are you going to discuss religious imagery? Are you going to, right? And then talk about Diaz's poems, bring in the other poem, and then have a conclusion paragraph. Now, we are going to have to cite these things because anytime, we use outside source information, we want to cite it. So I have posted a MLA format and citation packet right here to this module folder. If it's been a while since you did MLA, or you're kind of like, I've never done MLA for poetry, in an announcement next week, I'm also going to give another link that will help you with those things. But I am available to help, certainly. But I can only help if you ask. So the sooner in the week you ask, the more help I can give you. If you wait till Friday afternoon and it's due Friday night at midnight, you're kind of limiting how much I can help you. So the poetry essay is what we should be focusing on. Hopefully you've already started reading through that packet, or you're starting to develop your ideas on it. So to turn this in, when you go to submit assignments, now you will find a link that says poetry essay. And when you click into that, we need to upload the file. We don't want to copy and paste the text like we might in a blog, because that'll throw all your formatting off and your citation, works cited page would be all jacked up. So when you click into there, click browse, and then find where you saved it on your computer and click submit. So for the file name, you only have one poetry essay. I'm going to get a bunch to grade. So I would prefer that the file name is your last name, your first initial, and then the type of essay. So if it says Parker J poetry essay or Smith K poetry essay, that way when I give you comments back, I make sure to upload the right file back to the gradebook for you. So that's next week. Make sure to ask the questions that you have. Our next unit, we're going to be moving into creative nonfiction. So that's things like memoir, biography. We're going to read some short pieces and we're going to read a book. I want to talk very quickly about the 2 books that you need to get. I didn't have them required because you can get them cheaper online. You can get them free from your libraries. So for this section, we are going to be doing Alison Bechdale's Fun Home, a family tragic comic. So this is New York Times bestseller, critic, book of the year. You will be able to find this at libraries. We've got it here at the Southeast Library Campus Library. I'm looked it up on, not YouTube. What is this? Amazon. There's 840 available used for $2.75. So you can get this very cheap. You can also get this as ebooks and from libraries, things like that. This is a graphic memoir, so it's going to be interesting to look at the form of a memoir in shorter pieces in text, but then when we put the visual element on here as well. this deals with issues of suicide. This deals with issues of being LGBT. And so this is sometimes a controversial book, but it's very beautiful and very poignant and something that we should all read. So you'll need to get a copy of this because like this is what your essay is going to be about. So we have a couple weeks for you to get a copy of it and read it. Also, while you're shopping for that or getting that from your library, you may want to look at, I don't have my physical copy here, of the fiction novel that we're going to read toward the end of the semester if you want to get started on that. It's called Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi, I think is how she said it. It's Gyasi, and it's a novel. And on Amazon, it starts at $7. So, oh, that's the audio CD. It starts at $5. So you can get both of these for less than you'd spend at lunch for Subway. So if you want to get both of those, that way we can get started. Let me know what kind of questions you have. I'll be posting the files for the Module 2 assignment sheet and readings and stuff like that starting next week. So have a good day.